Hey there, it's Gary Parrish. It's Friday, March 4, 2022. Welcome back to the CBS Sports Eye on College Basketball podcast, where we sometimes discuss camel fighting, dodo birds, and leaky black. Matt Norlander is here with me. And please note that the Eye on College Basketball podcast is presented by Jersey Mike's, which is a proud sponsor of the Naismith Award. Jersey Mike's would like to offer congratulations to all of the athletes on this season's Naismith watch list. And we will update our Naismith watch list in just a little bit. If you're watching on YouTube, please smash the like button like you're Brandon Davies. And while you're here, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button too if you haven't already. We're trying to build this thing. We need you guys to help us do it. So please help us out with that. Subscribe if you haven't already. We thank you in advance. All right, Deadleg, you're in Durham, North Carolina, for Mike Krzyzewski's final game inside Cameron Indoor. It's this weekend, going to be Saturday against North Carolina. I know you were at Coach K's press conference on Thursday. What did the winningest coach in Division I men's basketball history have to say in advance of his final game at Cameron?
Oh, a couple things. One, if you are listening, yes, I don't have my normal mic. We're going modern here. I'm going onboard mic. Parrish forgot this a week ago. I had to make things equal, so now I don't have the podcast. I might have been very busy packing and writing. Then I got, halfway to the airport and thought, that's right. That's what I forgot. So if you're listening, we'll be back to normal on Sunday when I'm back in Connecticut. Two,
bit of advice for you. If you turn a 16-minute read into a 7-minute read, you got time to pack, dead leg.
You want to tell the audience what you lost again?
I'm both.
You want to tell them what happened again? You want to give me advice on stuff that might have been forgotten?
I'm both angry and embarrassed. I woke up this morning. I can't find my AirPods. I think I lost another pair last night.
Exactly. That's what I thought. Number two, got no acknowledgement from Mike Krzyzewski that this podcast broke the news that he would be retiring. Nothing. I'm a little offended, but I moved past it. So after that didn't get addressed at his final pre-North Carolina press conference, he did touch on a number of different things. I asked him if he had gotten, reflective at a couple of points. And so I had a few questions later, and I asked him if he was ready to, I know he's physically ready to retire. He mentally made this decision a year ago, but is he emotionally ready to let go of this thing? And he immediately said, yes, I'm ready. I don't want the season to end now, but when it ends, he is good to go. And to me, the most notable thing that he said, and the press conference was about 32, 33 minutes. He said, I will have nothing to do with our basketball program when I retire, which I thought was relatively surprising. It's not like he's going to be gone or a ghost. He's going to still have his office, come to Duke, be around, help fundraise. He mentioned that, there are facelifts and upgrades and things you can do to actually improve a lot of the things around Cameron Indoor Stadium, and he wants to, pitch in and help do that. But his words, he said, when it comes to the Duke men's basketball program, it is John Shires. If he wants advice, I'll be here for him. But he is not going to be someone that's showing up to practice, helping devise practice plans, game plans. He even actually, in the middle of me asking him a question, he started to go off on why he was ready to, be done. And then he said, I don't even know if I'll come to the games. Where would I sit? And I said, Mike, I think they'll find a spot for you. But he said, I'm not going to hover. Everyone needs their space. And so I thought that to be pretty interesting in addition to other stuff he said. But just, I'll just throw this right back to you. I found it a little surprising because he also, I think he addressed it because word had gotten back to him that some people believed, listen, Krzyzewski's going to retire, but maybe he'll still be around the program in a prominent way that can, understandably act as a booster for Shire taking over at a young age, the age that Krzyzewski once was when he took over. Were you surprised to hear him say what he said in that regard?
Not necessarily, because I always assumed he'd be around, but not involved. Around, visible, but not. And I never assumed he was going to retire and then help devise game plans, or retire and then go to practice every day, or even some days. I assumed that you'd see, you'd turn on a Duke Georgia Tech game, and he, will be sitting somewhere inside Cameron Indoor. Maybe not every game, but every once in a while, because that's the way Roy Williams is doing it this season. Like Roy's been everywhere.
I know.
But like Roy's very visible, but I don't think he's in the locker room, giving halftime speeches. He's just there. I think because he loves basketball and he loves being around it and he cares deeply about that school and that program. So he's around, but not involved. John Wooden, I remember when I first got this job and I would go to UCLA games sometimes, like John Wooden would be there. John Wooden would be, they had a little, everybody knew where John Wooden sat. I remember one time it was announced before a game that I was attending at Pauley Pavilion that John Wooden was not going to, like that was the thing. They would announce when he's not going to be there. Like Coach Wooden is not going to be at the game tonight. And I pulled into the parking garage and like first floor is reserved for John Wooden, something like that. And I was like, if he's not going to be here, could I park here? I thought about it. And then I just kept driving. I figured it might cause some problems. But John Wooden was around but not involved. Roy Williams is around but not involved. And I just always assumed Mike would be around but not involved. If John needs him, to take a phone call, he'll obviously take it. But no, I wasn't surprised to hear him say, like, I'm not going to be, in practices. I'm not going to be devising game plans. I'm not going to call John and say, hey, what we used to do against Wake Forest is blah, 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 blah. I think, he's 75 years old. He's going to retire and he's going to still live in the community. And I'm assuming be visible, but that was my understanding.
Yeah, to hear him speak at the presser, it really feels like he's going to entirely remove himself from Duke men's basketball. So we'll see what that, saying that now versus what it is 8, 10, 12 months from now, let alone 2 years from now. He'll still be around again, but it's going to be a thing where he's going to want to let John have the thing entirely. So that'll be intriguing. Krzyzewski did, bounce back and forth between different tones of voice, different approaches. He was tongue-in-cheek, he was serious, he was reflective. He didn't get too emotional, and I think that's because he knows he's going to be emotional before this game. So it's believed at this point between 75 and 80 former players are going to show up. I'm actually interested to see what the actual number is by the time we get to the game. Heads up for the listeners, it's being obviously advertised as a 6 p.m. start. They are aiming for a 6:20 p.m. Eastern tip. There will be a pregame ceremony. The players, I'm told, the former players are going to form. Listen, I understand that a lot of people they just hate Duke. I get it. So if this makes you throw up in your mouth when I'm about to tell you, I get it. But I'm just telling you what the plan is. All right. So you can be prepared ahead of time. The former players are going to come out and they're going to make like a huge, I guess, tunnel kind of thing. He's going to walk out and then all the players are going to be on the court. And then his current players are going to be on the court. And that's going to be like a ceremonial kind of thing. I don't think Krzyzewski is going to talk before the game because I think that's going to happen. He'll go back in and then it'll be the traditional, okay, now let's get ready to get the game going. But that's going to be insane. All those former Duke players, Grant Hill, Christian Laettner, all on down the line. There's 12 to 15 that can't come because they're playing. They can't even be there, but it's wild. So yeah, 6:20 p.m. tip on Saturday is the target. He will talk after the game. And oh, by the way, Parrish, I feel like even though I know the Final Four national championship games, they're huge events, but and they're mega events unto themselves, but this game feels as secondary to the proceedings as anything I've ever covered. Yeah, it's Duke Carolina. They're gonna play a game, but it's almost like we got to have the game so we can have the other thing. I don't know. I've never covered something like this. It feels a little bit weird in terms of the game is clearly the secondary item. From afar, do you feel as though that's the same thing as well?
Yeah, I mean it's an event more than a game. I mean, there's a lot of basketball games this weekend. Duke Carolina isn't even the best, or I think among the best or most interesting. It's just a game. Yeah. But it's an event. And that's the reason people are paying the incredible prices that they're paying to be in the building. I've seen a lot of like snarky comments, like, why would you pay $3,000 to watch somebody coach? Well, that's not why you're paying $3,000. You're paying $3,000 so you can say, I was there. I was there the last time Coach K coached inside Cameron Indoor. You know, I remember when the Cubs won the World Series. I have friends who are Cubs fans, and you know, they paid wild amounts of money to go to, you know, I guess it went to 7 games to go to Game 7 in Cleveland, was it?
Yeah.
And you know, it's like you could ask the same, but why would you pay $2,000 to go to a baseball game? Well, you're not paying $2,000 to go to a baseball game. You're paying $2,000 to say I was there. I was there when the Cubs broke this streak. And that's what people are doing this weekend. They want to be in this small building to witness an event, to be able to subsequently say, I was there that night Coach K coached his last game in Cameron Indoor. And so I don't know if I've been to anything quite like this. Like I was there. I went to Lubbock, Texas, my only trip to Lubbock, Texas, when Bob Knight was supposed to break the all-time wins record. And I was only there for that. I don't remember who they were playing. It feels like UNLV, but I might be making that up. But I wasn't there for the game. Like, who cares? It was a game. Who cared? Between Texas Tech and somebody I don't even remember. But it was supposed to be an event. It was supposed to be history. So I was there. And they lost the stupid game. So then I had to make the call. Oh, it was awful. I had to make the call, like, because it was, again, I could be making all this up. It feels like it was right before New Year's, this game. And it was like, okay, now are you going to stay for the next attempt to break the record? And if so, that means you got to spend New Year's Eve in Lubbock, Texas. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm going home. And then there was like tornado, like bad weather. I could barely get home. The whole thing was a nightmare. But that was similar in the sense that you're going to witness something and document it as opposed to going to a game that matters. So, you know, I given that it's an event, and you said earlier, like, you know, if you hate Duke, you know, this stuff might make you throw up in your mouth. Stop here for a second. Why is that an expression? Throw up in your mouth? People would say that all the time. Where else would you throw up?
Well, you can leave your mouth. Like you sometimes you feel a little sick and maybe it's a little bit, but it doesn't quite get all the way out. That's why.
So why is that an expression, I wonder?
Because people do it. What do you mean?
I mean, why is that the thing? Like, people never say, I know this will make, or they rarely say, don't say as often, oh, I know this might make you throw up. The common thing is, oh, I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. Why do
because it was just
that?
a little bit. It's like, oh, it's maybe just enough, but it's not like I don't want to outright publicly show how disgusted I am and vomit all over the floor. That's my guess. I got no answers for you.
I hate that expression.
All right.
I feel like if we want to say something makes us sick, we should just say,
if Duke makes you sick,
throw up out of your mouth. Don't throw up in your mouth.
If you're gonna commit to being offended or so disgusted, please just take the full final step. Vomit everywhere, on your shoes, the pavement, the carpet, whatever. Just fully commit.
That's what I think. I think you should fully commit. But like, whatever. I don't care about those people. I don't care about the people who are offended that Mike Krzyzewski's having a final season before retirement, or that he's being honored in certain opposing arenas, or that he's going to have this incredible night tomorrow night with all these players coming back to, you know, show their appreciation. And like, I'm not only am I fine with it, I actually enjoy it. I think all of this is awesome. The guy has had an incredible career, arguably the best ever in college basketball. If you're bothered because he's being celebrated, then you know, whatever. I don't understand it. I don't need to understand it. I've got to point in my life. I don't have to understand everything, but I don't understand.
I mean, it's not hard to understand, though. I mean,
why people are bothered.
Going back. Well, no, it's just Duke's been a lot of people love to hate Duke. Like it's actually helped college basketball's popularity from the times of Christian Laettner and Bobby Hurley, and you know how they became the most talked about and discussed program in the sport for 30 years. And a lot of that was ESPN's coverage. There's no doubt about it. But like there was as much fawning coverage of Duke as anything else. And so that, familiarity breeds contempt. And you got a small private school like Duke that continued to win and win and win and win. And some people thought that Mike Krzyzewski and the way he did things might have been a bit haughty at times. Like, I'm not surprised why this is the case, but it's a good thing. If you want to hate Duke, go ahead. I don't care. It actually improves interest in the sport. I'm actually interested to see when we look 3-5 years from now, how Duke is regarded. Is it going to be, is it going to be anything close to how people view it now? I don't know. Like, a lot of people will kind of watch with, bits of disdain as they tune into this. I'm not saying I agree with it, but that's the reality of the situation, Parrish. I mean, that's almost,
I know those people exist.
You just don't understand how they get to that point. I got you.
No, yeah, I know those people exist. I just think it's weird. Like the guy got into coaching, not to get rich, not to get famous, because he got into coaching at a time where none of those things were reasonable things to aspire to, and he became the person most regarded as the greatest college basketball coach of all time. And at the age of 75, he's still operating at the tip top of the sport and is going to walk away. And this weekend, in his final home game ever, he will be honored. I don't know why that bothers somebody. Like, if that bothers you, you're a weirdo, I think. But whatever.
Yeah, no, that's entirely fair. A couple things about the game. One, I talked to a few players on Thursday, and great conversations with Trevor Keels, Wendell Moore, Theo John, Joey Baker. I asked them if they felt exceedingly anxious over this whole deal, or felt pressure in this particular game, because it's Duke Carolina in the last home game, and all of them said not really at this point. They don't even quite know what to expect, which I think is the big picture takeaway. And even I wrote a column. It's going to publish in a little bit here on Friday at cbsports.com. Just, advancing the story, advancing what's going to happen Saturday. No one knows what to expect with this. There's going to be more emotional weight dropped over the crowd of, 9,300 plus people in that building, that expecting to see Duke play a certain way or Carolina to play a certain way, I think is misguided. Now, Duke will be a double-digit favorite, and we'll pick the game in the Final Four and 1. And as a couple people have joked to me, but maybe not joking, they're like, if you think Mike Krzyzewski got a friendly whistle in Cameron before, like, wait until Saturday. Kind of like, Duke's never going to get a better whistle ever than Mike Krzyzewski's home game. Now, it's said in jest, but you get the point, Parrish. I don't know what to expect from these players. I think Duke will win with some level of comfort, but I think it might be tight early. I don't know. Or maybe Duke's guys, they just come out of a cannon. They killed Carolina the last time. I'll be interested to see with all of that. Krzyzewski also said, understandably why he said this. He said, listen, I know this is kind of about me, but I'm going to read you the direct quote. He said, I don't want them to feel there's so much about me. The moment is about us. He continued, and so I want them to understand it's our moment, and it just happens to be in this situation. And for them not to play because it's coach's last game, we should play because we want to win. And there is something to that. I mean, Mike Krzyzewski has compiled, game plans, practice plans for Duke for 42 years. And the one he's doing right now for Carolina is the same one and same way he did it for, their previous home game and the previous game against Pitt and the previous game against Syracuse. So he'll stick to his routine. But man, like, he's going to look out and see all of these guys dating back to his first year at Duke to the most recent graduates or players that departed who are able to return for this. And it will be justifiably emotional. Like, it's really going to be something, man. And this is, one of the points I make in the column is Mike Krzyzewski is the most important sports entity in Duke history. And right behind him at number 2 is Cameron Indoor Stadium. Those two forces combined over the past 4 decades to basically redefine how great of a television product college basketball can be. Because, Cameron Indoor was always like, it was a fine, venue, but it was not what it is now with the crazies until Mike Krzyzewski got there. And some of this was obviously ESPN coming into its own, college basketball in the 1980s. I get all that. But the idea of true competitive advantage with home court, which means more in college basketball. There's actually been studies done. College basketball's home court advantage is better than college football's home field advantage, the NFL home field advantage, hockey home ice advantage, college basketball, it means more. And so the point the column makes is that Krzyzewski and Cameron, this is, the last time these forces will join. This will be the send-off. Yes, for the home crowd, but also for this building. And so I think that will be pretty tough. He also said, he said, how did this happen? How are we finally here? He made this decision privately to retire GP, I think a year ago, if not longer. But he said, this is your last game at Cameron. Like, it's crazy. How did that happen? How is it here? And I get it. And it is here. And I'm excited just to watch, take it all in, because it's going to be, man. I hope we get a good game, by the way. And we'll talk more about the game, I guess, on the pick. But yeah, that's the scene from Durham.
As long as we're discussing things that I hate it. Is that housekeeping?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Do you have the do not disturb sign on your door? Dead legs having to deal with house cleaning.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Get some towels. While they're there, get some towels. You can never have enough towels. You should always at least get towels.
True story.
When they knock on your door, you should at least get towels.
I didn't get towels. Yesterday, check in. Door's right over there. Then like the bathroom's right there. There's no door in the bathroom.
You don't have a door in your bathroom?
No, it's like an open area. There's like, there's no door in the bathroom in the hotel room. And it's right next.
What if you're staying with somebody and they had to do a 2? There's no door?
I got a single bed, so there's no door.
In what world do you not have a door on your bathroom? That's outrageous.
It's it's a bigger bathroom, so it's like an enclave situation. You've been in hotels like this. It's a good hotel.
Yeah, I guess so. But there's always a door. You can shut.
There's no door. I'm telling you, there's no door.
That's outrageous.
Yesterday, I fly in. I'm the kind of person where I think it's normal, but there are people who, if I fly, I have to shower. As soon as I get to the hotel, I gotta shower the plane off of me. So I shower, and I walk out of the bathroom without a door. The exact moment housekeeping opens the door, because they didn't because I got here early. I did a mobile check-in. I got into my room before noon. They didn't. I don't know what happened.
They see your ding-a-ling?
How we doing here? How we doing?
Did they see your ding-a-ling?
No. I was toweled up, but it was a moment.
Okay.
Well, they're probably experts.
First off, there should be a door to separate the toilet from the
rest
of everything else.
There's no door.
Well, that doesn't make any sense.
I've been. You're going to say something else you hate. By the way, is this not the second straight time? Did the same thing happen when I went to Gonzaga?
Can't speak to that.
I think it did.
I can't keep track of your life. I can't even keep track of AirPods. I've been in hotel rooms where they're like, there's suites and the bedroom bleeds into the bathroom and you can see the shower from the bedroom. Those are fun. But you should be able to shut yourself in the toilet if you want to.
Not an option.
That's outrageous.
I'm just saying it's not an option.
That doesn't make any sense. I hate that. Let's add that to the list of things I hate. Here's what I asked. This is the point I was trying to make before we were so rudely interrupted by housekeeping. Yes, it's happened to me yesterday. I was doing radio in my hotel room in New York, and I've got the do not disturb sign on the door, and they knock on the door twice. Mr. Parrish, do you need anything? No. I put the sign on the door to indicate to you I need nothing except
signs on the door.
Silence. I need silence.
The sign, if we're not going to obey the sign, what are we even doing here?
What is the sign for?
I guess it's become a personal affront or challenge. I don't get it. The sign's on the door.
It said do not disturb. That means don't knock. Like if I ever saw do not my office at my radio studio, I don't have a key to it. So housekeeping kept coming through, the cleaning crew, and they kept locking it. So I put a big sign. It's like a gigantic sign on the door. It says, please do not lock this door ever. And they still, once every 2 weeks, we'll lock it. It says, don't lock the door. Stop. It says do not disturb. Leave me alone. Here's what I hate. You mentioned Coach K said, this isn't about me. Yes, it is about you. Okay. Why do people always say that? Like Tom Brady going back to Gillette Stadium. Well, this isn't about me. It's about the Patriots and the Buccaneers. No, it's about you. Why, when things are clearly about a specific person, do they act like it's not? I don't even think they believe it. They just say it out loud. Like, this isn't about me. Yes, it is about you. The only reason Deadleg is going to have to at some point use the bathroom without shutting a door is because this is Coach K's final game in Cameron Indoor. No other reason. You were there only because of him.
Yeah. That's true.
Why do people say that all the time?
If you're ever looking for Gary Parrish to say, this isn't about me, you've come to the wrong podcast. That's all
I'll tell you when things are about me and when they're not. But I won't lie to you about it and pretend if something's clearly about me that it's not about me. I don't understand.
I got you. Before we move on to our Jersey Mikes, I did want your quick thoughts because you did not chip in, which was which I actually appreciate for this very exercise here. So we did the 42 top players to play at Duke. 25-minute read, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not. No chance.
Get in there. Get in there. All right.
0% chance.
All right, but you looked at the list, obviously.
No.
What? You didn't look at the list?
No, I don't care about things like that. List. Those things don't interest me.
Then we can trivia. Okay, then we can both. First of all, we're going to do a trivia time right now. You didn't look.
Although at the list.
You might have seen my tweet, which is going to give away the trivia time. I think. How many players has Coach K coached at Duke? I tweeted the number.
I know you tweeted the number. I saw the number. I did see it, but I don't remember it.
Okay, so
975 is something like that. Am I making that up?
975.
I don't know. If you asked for a number, I threw one out. Are you disputing that that's a number? Just tell me I got it wrong.
The number is 208.
Yeah, I rounded up.
Now that sounds crazy low, but you think about from 1980 to Corey Maggette. Guys were staying 4 years. No one was transferring out. So the turnover was like 2-3 guys a year. So it actually makes sense. But my initial guess, because I thought when I went to find the number, my guess was like 440. Samsonite. I was way off. Okay, so we made Kyle Boone.
975 from, I wonder.
975. You got Coach K finishing up his 113th season at Duke this weekend.
Yeah, I wanted to round up to the nearest 975. Sometimes when I'm trying to deal with numbers, I round up to the nearest 975.
All right. So Kyle Boone, David Cobb, and myself got together, ranked players, cross-referenced with the great Chip Patterson, subscribed to the Cover 3 podcast, ran it by one Adi Joseph, our managing editor, who absolutely always has opinions on this. And I also checked in with a number of former Duke assistant coaches just to be sure. So this is not the most important players to the history of Duke's program kind of deal. This is the best players, the best talents as they were in college. NBA career did not have any kind of impact on our voting whatsoever. This is, you get this guy as a college player. Who's the best? Who do you want? The proverbial playground. Your team, my team, your captain, my captain. You get pick first. Now I pick second. Then you pick, then I pick. With that in mind, you did not look at this list.
I promise you. It never even occurred to me.
It's okay. I think I've read the top 25 and 1 maybe 3 times this season. So we're all good. With that being said, try and guess the top 10 in order.
I'll tell you what it should be. Number 1 should be Zion Williamson.
It's Christian Laettner.
Well, it should be Zion Williamson. He was the best player.
Christian Laettner was a better college player than Zion Williamson. Zion Williamson was great. And I did. I wrote the capsule
never a season where Christian Laettner was better than Zion Williamson. There was never a season where Christian Laettner was better than Zion Williamson.
Our top 4 is where it gets truly debatable as who you are taking first. If this is a pickup game and you have every Duke player under Coach K ever to choose from. If Zion is your number 1, it's more than reasonable. Maybe for you, it's mandatory. So yes, there is a case for Zion. I will also remind you, this was a Democratic vote. Zion came in 4th. Christian Laettner came in ridiculous. First. Who else is
what
in the
silly
top
list? You guys did a silly list.
Okay.
I should poll attack your list. There was never a season where Christian Laettner
You
was
are welcome to make your own list of the 42 best players under Coach K. Get it done. Let's go.
I'm going to do a list of one. It'll be Zion Williamson. There was never a year where Christian Laettner in that whatever year was better than Zion Williamson was in that 1 year.
Okay.
Well, that's the way you described the list. Like, we're going to, who's the best? We're playing a pickup game.
Yeah.
Who's the best? Who's the most awesome? Zion Williamson. That's easy.
That's fine. Okay. There you go.
What else you need me to guess?
No one, by the way, consulted with maybe close to 10 people. I'm not saying you're wrong. No one said Zion should be one. It was either Christian Laettner or the other person. Who's number two?
You can argue, and I think accurately, that Christian Laettner had the best Duke career that's ever existed. I'm fine with that. But who was the best? Like who's the best? Like we're playing pickup. Who do you want? I want healthy, in shape, one and done Zion Williamson. And then Christian Laettner can come in there somewhere. I did get a text from somebody asking me about this list, and I was like, I got nothing to do with this list. Did you guys really put Trey Jones over Tyus Jones?
Yeah, Trey Jones was a better college player than Tyus Jones. I'd rather have Trey Jones than Tyus Jones. Tyus Jones got really good at the end and won a championship, but career accomplishments were not taken into account here. At least I didn't. Yeah. Trey Jones was one of the best defenders in the country, and because he didn't have a 2020 NCAA tournament where he could have been even more awesome, that affected I think how he was regarded. But yeah, they're both on the list. Trey Jones was better than Tyus Jones.
I was asked if you guys got the brothers mixed up.
No, I would have rather had Trey than Tyus. Trey was a better two-way player. It's inarguable. Trey Jones had the second best assist to turnover ratio in the sport too. Better. Sorry. Take a Trey.
What a list.
Can you guess the number two player already?
Johnny Dawkins?
Oh my gosh. Dawkins is 6.
The number 2 player.
Yeah.
Probably should be RJ Barrett.
RJ Barrett is 11.
I know it's not Jalen Johnson.
Not.
I wonder if he's coming back.
He's not on the list. Don't think so. He's also not on the list.
JJ Redick.
JJ Redick is 5.
Jay Williams?
3.
That's all the Duke players I know. I don't know anymore.
Grant Hill.
Grant Hill.
You take Zion Williamson over Grant Hill?
I'd take Zion Williamson over everybody. I think we've established that.
I can't. Grant Hill was awesome. All right, so it goes Laettner, Hill, Jay Williams, Zion, JJ, Johnny Dawkins, Danny Ferry. Trivia time. Danny Ferry holds the single game record for most points scored in a game by a Duke player. How many points do you think it was?
44.
58.
What? That's outrageous. Maybe it's Danny Ferry. Maybe Danny Ferry should be number 1. 58.
Exactly. Elton Brand is 8. Shane Battier is 9. Bobby Hurley's 10. RJ Barrett, Marvin Bagley, Jaleel Okafor, Sheldon Williams, and Jabari Parker round out the top 15.
58. Can we get to our Naismith player watch list?
Let's do it.
I got a top 3.
You're gonna have Zion number 1?
Should be. If he were playing right now, he would be. I think you've forgotten how awesome Zion Williamson was as a college basketball player. All right, I got a top 3. You got a top 3.
I think
it's the Naismith Player of the Year watch list presented by Jersey Mike's. Have you done something where my audio is feeding back?
I haven't done anything. But what is this? You think this is funny?
I can't even see that. You're going to have to read it to me.
You can't. It said Norlander. It's Sydney Sweeney. How are you? What are you doing? I don't have this number is not in my phone. I'm not joking. I just got this 4 minutes ago.
She got engaged this week.
Norlander, it's Sydney Sweeney. How are you? And I don't have any text history with this person.
Maybe it's Sydney Sweeney. She's probably upset about your Duke list.
Okay. She would have remembered Grant Hill. Let's do our Jersey Mike's Naismith top 3.
Sydney Sweeney has no idea who Grant Hill is. I would bet you
I'm not good.
$500. I bet you a set of AirPods. She has no idea who Grant Hill is.
Okay. Well, that's a worthless bet to you, literally, because you don't care about your AirPods.
God, I wish I had them.
The area code is Toronto. The area code is Toronto, by the way.
Maybe Sydney Sweeney's in Toronto and she's upset about your Duke list.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, give me your top 3.
Okay. After what we saw this week,
this entire podcast has grown contentious.
The person who sent it to me has identified themselves. I won't give it up. It's not Sydney Sweeney. All right, my top 3: Oscar Tshiebwe, Johnny Davis, Ochai Agbaji. I think that's my top 3. But it feels like we're getting to an Oscar, Johnny, everyone else playing for third kind of situation.
I don't have Johnny Davis in my top 3 right now. I mean, in my top 2 right now. I do have him in my top 3.
How that is justifiable. You're off your rocker today. You don't have Johnny Davis in your top 3.
I have him in my top 3. I don't have him in my top 2. That's why I push back on the idea that it's strictly Oscar, Johnny, everybody. It's clearly Oscar Tshiebwe number 1 right now. 16.9 points, 15.3 rebounds for a Kentucky team that I got ranked 6th in the top 25 and 1. He's number 1 defensive rebounding percentage, number 2 offensive rebounding percentage. Saw this from the Athletics' Kyle Tucker yesterday that Oscar Tshiebwe is on track to be the first Division I player since 1980 to average more than 16 points and more than 15 rebounds in a season. And if he does it, he probably will, he'll be the first major conference player to do it since trivia time. If Oscar Tshiebwe averages more than 16 points and 15 rebounds per game this season, he'll be the first major conference player to do that since who?
More than.
So 16.1 and 15.1 qualifies.
I'm going to say Bill Walton.
You son of a bitch. It's Bill Walton.
Let's go. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
It was outrageous.
Come on.
UCLA 1973. Look at you, dead leg. Master of trivia time.
Yeah.
I got Oscar Tshiebwe number 1. I got Keegan Murray number 2 now.
He's in my list. I have Murray. I put Keegan 5th. I have Kofi 4th. Iowa got a good win on Thursday. He's there. He's been awesome. There's a very good case for him. Yes.
23.3 points, 8.5 rebounds a game, shooting 38.5% from 3. Got 23 and 7 Thursday night in a double-digit win over Michigan. Iowa is now 8-1 in its past 9 games, up to 14th at KenPom. And then number 3, I got Johnny Davis, averaging 20.3 points, 8.3 rebounds for a team that I got ranked 7th now in the top 25 and 1. Wisconsin on a 5-game winning streak. Badgers are going to be outright Big Ten champions as long as they beat Nebraska at home this weekend. So I've got Oscar Tshiebwe, Keegan Murray, Johnny Davis. You've got Oscar Tshiebwe, Johnny Davis, Ochai Agbaji. Before we get to the final 4 and 1, let me ask you a question. Are your go-to game day foods feeling uninspired? Next time, skip the usual suspects and order Jersey Mike's. At Jersey Mike's, they make every sub to order with premium fresh sliced meat, and cheesesteaks are cooked on a flat-top grill. Download their app for delivery, curbside, or in-store pickup. Jersey Mike's. It's a proud sponsor of the Naismith Award and a proud maker of a sub above. Final 4 and 1.
Before that,
I took the lead last week, I think.
You did. Before we get the records, first, how about a word from one of our sponsors?
There is a divergence in time.
Welcome to the road not taken.
Earth 2024. A single change is vastly more dangerous than you realize. None of our tomorrows are guaranteed.
You must bring us home.
You have one final frontier yet to come.
Good looking out, Deadleg.
I got you. No Pearl Jam this time, but still. Paramount Plus. Get on it. By the way, I've been told we're gonna be giving out Paramount Plus subscriptions as giveaways on the pod. I don't know how that's happening. Trivia time for the whole fam, but that's coming this month. So be on the lookout there.
Not to update us on the records. I feel like I took the lead last week. I can't say for sure, but I feel like I took the lead last week.
I can't tell you that you took the lead, but you finished over 500 for the first time in about a month.
That's good.
You're at 33 and 39. You gained a game. You basically copied Norlander's answers for last week, and that's how you got to 3 and 2. Which smart idea. Norlander's at 40 and 27. I feel like this is one of those last times where you can make that final push, GP, to get to respectability.
Trying to get to respectability. Story of my life.
Listen,
to climb back to respectability.
We're gonna, I assume, because this is how these things are going, we'll probably pick every single NCAA tournament game against the spread. You're gonna have your chance to catch me. So that's gonna bake into the final 4-1. It'll be the final 67-1, 68 or 66-1, or 67 games, 68 teams. So keep that in mind as well. Hey, good news for you. I didn't bring the Roadcaster, the pod board. I got no music. I got no music. You're good to go. You're free.
No music.
Yeah.
No door.
No.
What a nightmare situation you found yourself in.
Should I take my laptop into the bathroom and start podcasting from there?
I don't think you understand how weird it is not to have a door on your toilet.
I hear you, but it's just me in here. So what do I care?
I understand you shouldn't care, but that's something that's inappropriate.
Do you want me to go make a complaint on your behalf with the front desk later today?
Just give me the number. I'll talk to them.
Okay, sounds good.
Game 1, Saturday, noon Eastern. Number 14, Arkansas at number 13, Tennessee. Inside Ramar Smith Arena. KenPom has it. Tennessee -7. You can watch it on CBS. It's America's most watched network. It is the network of stars.
Tennessee has 1 loss in 5 weeks. Arkansas has 1 loss in 8 weeks. Don't you feel like – you probably don't. I get the sense Arkansas is due for a dud. I don't know if it'll be here in the SEC tournament. I feel like they're going to have a dud. I'm going to say it's here. I'll take Tennessee to win comfortably, get even more intrigue going into the SEC tournament because right now Kentucky's the team that I trust most, but you'll have a situation with Kentucky, Arkansas, Tennessee, Auburn, all capable of winning that league tournament. But yeah, I'll take the Vols in this spot to win and win big. They're also, they're playing at home and they're undefeated in that building this season. They're a different team in Thompson Bowling. So yeah, I'll go with Rick Martin's team.
Yeah, Tennessee 15-0 at home this season. Arkansas 14-1 in its past 15 games. Lone loss in that stretch. A 1-point loss at Alabama. Both these teams are trending in the right direction as Selection Sunday draws near. I just think the number's too big. First, I don't think that number will be that big. I do not think when it posts, it'll be Tennessee -7. But for our purposes, it's Tennessee -7. So I'll take Arkansas plus the 7 if I don't choke to death first. Game 2, Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern. Indiana at number 8, Purdue. Inside Jerry Palm Arena. KenPom has it Purdue -10. You can watch it on ESPN.
Dude, the Hoosiers are a mess.
Dude, they got internet problems. Oh, they got Wi-Fi problems.
Okay.
Ron Harper Jr. crashed the internet.
Dude, what a shot that was, though. Oh, man. What a shot that was for Rutgers. Indiana is 18. I might have to cut. They got Wi-Fi problems. That might have to go on the board. 18-11 out of the field right now. They got to be out of the field. Indiana cannot be in this tournament right now, right?
No, they're out of the field. They're out of the field.
They got to be out.
Yeah, they're out of the field right now, and now they're a double-digit underdog on the road at Jerry Palm Arena against the in-state rival. Tough situation for the internet. Tough situation. Good luck trying to get some 5G.
Oh, man.
Hope you ain't trying to make a reservation at St. Elmo this weekend. You're going to have to call. Can't make it online. Internet's out.
I'm going to go Purdue to cover this line. Now, Purdue hasn't been exactly the most reliable team either, but Indiana feels fractured to a point where like they need another. If they beat Purdue, they're getting in. That's on the road. I would borderline lock them. It's going to be such a valuable win. Purdue's lost 2 in a row. They were both on the road. Michigan State over the weekend, obviously by 3, and then they played a tight one and a good one on Tuesday, but they lost to Wisconsin. I think Purdue will get back in shape here. It should. So yeah, I'll take Purdue to win and to cover. 10 feels a little big considering how Purdue's been, but yeah, give me Painter's team to make a big statement there. And if that does indeed happen, yeah, the Hoosiers are going to need to win, in my opinion, at least 2 Big Ten tournament games to even keep themselves in the conversation to get in.
I'm taking Indiana plus the 10. That way, if they actually win, I can tell when the internet comes back on, Indiana fans start tweeting, I can just say, "What are you talking about? I picked you to win the game. I picked you. Why are you tweeting me? I picked you." Bad internet problems right now, though. Hope you don't have to check your checking account online today. Ron Harper Jr. crashed it.
He really did, man.
What a shot that was.
That was a shot, dude. Get Rutgers in the tournament, dude. I got to see that team again in the dance. Yeah.
Love Rutgers. Game 3, Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern. North Carolina at number 4 Duke inside Zion Williamson Indoor Stadium. KenPom has it Duke minus 12. You can watch it on ESPN.
Have we talked about this game? I feel like we
Zion
haven't.
Williamson Indoor Stadium.
I was hoping you were going for like someone super. Give me Eric Meek Indoor Stadium. I wanted someone super obscure there. Okay. What's your expectation for how this game plays out?
I'm going to blow them out.
You think it? In all seriousness, if you're a Duke player, you cannot lose this game for Ghost Light. You can't lose this game. Can't.
Remember, they won the first meeting by 20, and they could have won it by 30.
It was a just disaster. Now, the rivalry does have a penchant to give us the dramatic, and I would argue there's nothing greater for this rivalry than for Carolina to walk into Cameron on Saturday and win this game, clinch a tournament bid in the process, and send Mike Krzyzewski off with a big old L as he's walking out of Cameron.
That would by far be the most hilarious thing. That would be hilarious.
I mean, because he's talking. I'm told, like, after the game ends, he's addressing the crowd, the whole deal there, and yeah. I mean, it's hard to envision that happening, but it would be phenomenal for the rivalry if North Carolina did that. It just would be.
It would be the funniest thing ever.
Yeah.
In fact, go ahead, put me down. North Carolina plus the 12. That's because that's the funniest thing that could happen. Is North Carolina goes and wins at Cameron this weekend? Wouldn't that be hilarious?
It'd be something, man. It really would. It's hard to see. It's hard to see that happening, but it's not like Carolina is atrocious. It's not. Carolina is a good team. It's not a great team.
They're playing better. They're playing better.
They are capable of winning this game. There's no pressure on Carolina. There's none. It is a house money of all house money situations. So they'll walk in there. They should walk. Now, yeah, they need to get another win to feel really good about their tournament chances. So if they don't get it here, then the pressure's kind of on in Brooklyn. So there's that a little bit, but come on. It's all K. It's all Cameron, Duke, players there, a whole deal. Carolina, play loose. I'd be fascinated to be a fly on the wall in UNC's practice the past couple of days, see how that approach is going there. I'd like a good game, but if you told me Duke wins by 30, I'm not going to be stunned. Here's my prediction, though. I think we'll get a little bit of nerviness in the early part of this game, GP. And I'll say it's within like 6 at halftime. And then the second half, Duke goes Duke. They win with some comfort. You said the line is 12. I'll take Duke to cover. But maybe I might be trying to reverse jinx this because selfishly, I'd like to have a pretty good game to watch there at Cameron Indoor. This is my second Carolina Duke game at Cameron Indoor. Looking forward to it. So we will split on that. I will say Duke will cover. I'll say Duke covers, and Paulo Banchero has like an awesome game. That's my pick here.
Another weird expression. I'd like to be a fly on the wall. Nobody would ever actually like to be a fly on a wall, would they?
If you have the ability to morph back into a human, I'd live as a fly for a couple minutes.
If you were a fly on the wall, weird expression, because it's always like, I'd like to be a fly on the wall so that I can hear something or see something that I otherwise wouldn't be allowed to hear or see. But do flies even understand what we're talking about? Like, if you were a fly, I don't think flies understand English.
Did you ever watch that movie?
What movie?
Come on, man. You've never seen The Fly?
I feel like I know it exists. I don't know if I've ever seen it.
Jeff Goldblum, 1980s.
I'm familiar with Jeff Goldblum.
That's a good song. You know the song by The Flies? Big in like, what, 1999 or whatever? Got You Where I Want You?
I'm going to need you to sing it.
Got you. Okay, what is it? Got you where I want you. The Flies.
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know?
I think
good alt rock song.
I think I was busy in 1999. I must have missed it. I was busy in 1999.
You missed Christian Laettner's career. You missed a lot of stuff. So.
North Carolina 6-1 in its past 7 games. That one is a killer, though. That's the reason they're out. First 4 out right now, according to Jerry Palm. By the way, the first 4 out right now, according to Jerry Palm, Wake Forest, North Carolina, Oregon, and Rutgers. And if North Carolina would have just beaten Pitt at home, they'd be on the right side of the bubble right now. As it is, they're on the wrong side, and they're headed to Cameron Indoor. But I'm going to take them plus the 12. Just because that's the ultimate, like, rivalry thing to carry forever.
Forever.
Hey, remember that time we came into Cameron Indoor and ruined Coach K's final game? That's like the ultimate rivalry thing you do.
Dude, what if Carolina wins by 15? I mean,
what if they blow them out and Mike Krzyzewski gets kicked out of the game? That would be the best. K gets kicked out of the game.
Dan Hurley style. No. Yes. What would it actually take? What would it actually take for Mike Krzyzewski to be ejected from the game? Has he ever even been tossed from a game? I don't think so. I don't think Mike Krzyzewski's ever gotten the hook.
He'd have to piss on a referee. Like actually urinate on an official. And even then, they'd just warn him probably. What if he urinated on an official? Come on. Wouldn't that be something?
Why are you conjuring these images in my mind? Why am I thinking about that happening?
Everybody right now, stop what you're doing. Close your eyes and picture Mike Krzyzewski pissing on an official.
Dude, they better still let me in this building. They better not revoke my credential for this podcast. I'm not the one saying this. I'm singing alt rock hits from 1999. I'm not doing that.
It would be the funniest thing, though. Game 4. Number 14, Houston. At Memphis inside Rasheed Wallace Forum. Kim Palm has it Houston -4. You can watch it on CBS, America's Most Watched Network. It's the network of stars.
Now, I could see Kelvin Sampson pissing on a ref.
Dude, Kelvin. I've known Kelvin forever, and he's awesome. He's awesome. Like, we have a good relationship. One time I'm doing halftime on a Memphis Houston game. He yelled at me. In the halftime, I'm doing sideline. He yelled at me in the halftime interview live on CBS Sports Network. He was like,
Why?
because there was a non-call at the end of the half, something like that, and he was yelling at the ref, and I was having problems getting him for this halftime interview. Like, they're up, you're supposed to get the coach that's ahead, and he was fired up at this ref, man. I mean, he was yelling, and he's wild. But now I got to get him, and so naturally, like, one of the questions, you get maybe two, but perhaps just one question. Especially given we've just wasted 30 seconds with me trying to get him because he's angry, this ref. So my question was like, Kelvin, obviously you're upset with the official. What happened at the end of the half that bothered you? And he goes, why don't you ask him? And I was like, okay, I will. I guess I will. But I'm not supposed to do a halftime interview with the official. And then Mike Krzyzewski came out and pissed on the ref. And it just went wild from there.
Houston's 26-4.
Coach most likely to urinate on a referee. Who would it be?
Let's not go there. 26-4. Memphis is 18-9. Tigers in the field in the eyes of some. I think Palm's got him in. Does he not?
Of course he does. Tigers are rolling.
Hey, breaking news. Didn't know if you heard. The bubble is weak this year. Never happened before. The bubble's weak this year.
The bubble's always weak.
I know.
I never understand when people. I don't understand why. I don't understand how you couldn't have a door on your bathroom. That makes no sense. What also doesn't make sense is when power conference coaches complain about not getting an NCAA tournament. If you're in a power conference, you don't get an NCAA tournament, you're just not good. We put average teams in the tournament. We never leave good teams out. Never. Good teams do not get left out of the NCAA tournament. Average teams get put in. Bubble's always weak.
Good conference teams don't get left out. The occasional good mid-major might get screwed. But yes, I agree with you.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if you're in a power conference and you don't get in, that's your own fault. You're just not that good. You have not had a good season.
I agree. Reminder,
real quick,
Memphis is going okay, go ahead.
Real quick on Houston. Won the outright AAC title Thursday night, blew out Temple. So they're now 26-4 overall, 15-2 in the league. Mm-hmm. They're now outright champs 2 of the past 4 seasons, and they've won at least a share of the AAC in 3 of the past 4 seasons. And the only season they didn't was last season when they finished with 3 more AAC wins than anybody else in the league, but still finished second behind Wichita State because of an unbalanced and goofy COVID schedule. So the only season in the past 4 seasons that Houston hasn't won at least a share of its league title was a season in which they finished with 3 more league wins than anybody else and went to the Final Four. Now, here's some context for you. Before Kelvin Sampson won his first AAC title in 2019, Houston had gone 26 straight seasons without winning a conference championship. And now they're the best team in their conference every year. Before Kelvin took over at Houston, Houston finished outside of the top 130 at KenPom in 4 consecutive seasons. Now the Cougars are on track to finish in the top 20 for the 5th consecutive season, and perhaps inside the top 10 for the 2nd straight season. That's incredible stuff.
Yeah, he's completely resurrected the program, and I think that even gets understated, even though we've consistently given Sampson the credit he's been deserved on this podcast, even before they made the Final Four run a year ago. It's awesome. Yeah, Houston was a dead program essentially for 2 decades at least, and then what he's done there has been incredible, and they're going to be going to the Big 12 in a couple of years, and it's set up to continue to thrive, even if the records won't be as gaudy year over year, I think, going forward as they have been in the American. Memphis has 1 loss since January 20th. They have turned their season around. We'll give Penny Hardaway plenty of credit right here, right now, because this podcast was as critical of the Tigers, as dismissive of the Tigers as any, I would say. And, the league isn't that good. I understand that, but still, the way Memphis looked for most of the first 60% of the season didn't indicate that even in a subpar American that it would be able to have a situation where it's peeling off 9 out of 10 games, and that's what the Tigers have done here. A sweep of Houston, I think, would lock the Tigers. In fact, it should probably lock the Tigers. If they are to lose and Houston wins, I would highly advise Memphis to win at least one game in its conference tournament, but we'll kind of wait and see there. Again, a lot of people think they're in the field. I would say they're Dayton territory right now. Give me Houston to win this game and cover in this spot. So Houston's giving 4 on the road. I'm going to trust Kelvin Sampson in this spot, particularly because they lost the first one. Not that Memphis can't or won't do it, but they lost the first one. I like Houston to come back big and make a big statement.
By the way, Houston picked up a quad 1 win. It's first quadrant 1 win of the season. They got it this week. Do you see how they got it?
I did not.
Oklahoma State wins at Iowa State, moves to 50th in the net. So now Houston's one quadrant 1 win is a neutral court win over Oklahoma State in December, because a neutral court win over a top 50 team qualifies as a quadrant 1 win. So Houston's one quadrant 1 win is they got it only because Oklahoma State won at Iowa State earlier this week. Like you said, Memphis won the first meeting by 10 last month in Houston. The lone loss in this lengthy, for the most part, good stretch is a lopsided loss at SMU. That game just got away from them. SMU also on the bubble. Memphis right now, last 4 in, according to Jerry Palm. So he does have them. I believe he has them in the first 4. When I checked last night, he did. So, yeah, this is a big-time opportunity for the Tigers. If they win it, I think they're probably locked in the field. If they lose it, you're right. They got work to do. I'll take Memphis plus the 4. I mean, you'd never – Houston's awesome. Kelvin's awesome where he's got that program. But I think you could reasonably argue that Memphis has the better roster, and maybe Memphis has been playing better, for a 3-week span. Combine that with home court advantage. FedEx Forum should be nearly sold out for this one. I'll take Memphis plus the 4. They are 14-5 on the season when DeAndre Williams plays, and just 3-4 when he doesn't. So they have been a good team all year for the most part when DeAndre Williams is healthy, and he's healthy right now. I'll take Memphis plus the 4.
Cool. If Memphis wins, obviously that's going to be almost as big as any win any team on the bubble could get this weekend. Quick tour around the weekend before we give you our and 1/5 game. Kentucky, Florida, 2 Eastern, CBS on Saturday. If Florida can win at home, that you could argue that might be the biggest win anyone could get this weekend for their at-large purposes from a power conference. Also, if Virginia Tech wins at Clemson, that's a 2 Eastern Saturday game. Maybe we take a quick analysis of that resume for the Hokies. If the Hokies can win at Clemson, 2 Eastern Saturday, 2:30 on Fox. Seton Hall plays Creighton. Seton Hall is obviously going to make the field easily. Perhaps it's a lock situation if Creighton wins. Creighton's probably going to get in regardless, I think. But you win at home against Seton Hall, I think you're locked there. Texas, Kansas is a 4 Eastern game that will lead into Duke and Carolina on ESPN. Texas, Kansas. Kansas obviously going for an outright Big 12 title and trying to get the win there after holding on and getting a good win on Thursday against TCU. Revenge. It was well under 29.5 points, by the way. Good on the Frogs to keep it nice and competitive and close there Thursday night. 2 more on Saturday to know before we pick the Saturday game. Boise State, Colorado State, 8:30 CBS Sports Network. If you have not primed up for the Mountain West Conference Tournament, this is a regular season game, but do try and check out Broncos and Rams because those are 2 awesome teams. Both good enough to win games in the NCAA tournament. Really, really good. They're locks. And then USC plays at UCLA at 10 Eastern on ESPN. USC has a paper tiger kind of feel given their gaudy record, and they don't have a lot of great numbers to support what the record might suggest they are. We'll see if USC can go on the road and beat UCLA. As I mentioned a few podcasts ago, Andy Enfield is undefeated against Mick Cronin and UCLA. So keep that in mind there. UCLA is going to finally try and get over the hump against Enfield. Sunday, 2 games to know. Michigan, Ohio State is 12:30, and then Iowa at Illinois Sunday at 7:30 are the two big ones to know. And we also do have auto bids coming this weekend. 3 of them. OVC Saturday night. OVC is always the first tournament to get finalized. So Saturday night, ESPN2. I think that's 7:30. And then Sunday, Big South, noon, ESPN, Big South title game. And then the Missouri Valley, as always, America's Most Watched Network, 2:00 Eastern on Sunday. The Missouri Valley Championship will play out for the auto bid. So we have those 3 auto bids going, and we have 10 total conference tournaments getting in action. And I do adore this weekend and this time of the year, obviously with the tournament, but conference tournament, the urgency. One of the great things I love about the sport is that, yeah, it's a 68-team tournament, but you expand it out to the conference tournament, and it's, it's almost every team in the sport has a chance to win a national championship by the way it's structured, even though, it never happens with the tiny schools. You get what I'm saying? You win through your bracket, you get to get into the big bracket. I love that about college basketball. So that gets really going in a major way this week. And then obviously this weekend and into next week. Last game, Saturday, noon Eastern, CBS on Stromile Swift Court. Ooh. We're going to go with Alabama to LSU. Bayou Bengals, a 5-point favorite. LSU -5 in this one, GP. LSU has been, I don't know, as erratic, unreliable as any power conference team not named West Virginia in the past month plus. Who are you taking here?
Well, speaking of erratic, Alabama?
I know. LSU is even worse, but they're both. I mean, this is chaos game right here. That's why I picked it. You left it on the table. I got to go with this because who the hell knows? Either team could win by 25.
Right. So if we're going to, and I agree with you, who the hell knows? If we're going to put it under that umbrella, I'll just take the points, right? Give me Alabama +5.
I'm with you. LSU just got, I don't know. LSU is coming off of a 1-point loss at Arkansas, which it looked good, but it blew it. And it's lost to Kentucky, South Carolina recently. It's been completely up and down. It's got, defensively, I don't know. It's a weird team, man. It's a good defensive team that doesn't get defensive boards. It's an odd fingerprint. I will go with the Tide here. Both teams are going to get in. I would advise you right now, if you've just come aboard the podcast, in the past couple of weeks, or if this is the first one you've listened to this season, well, you picked a hell of an episode.
I hope to God this isn't somebody's first.
It does. That's the thing, though. It literally is. Like this, our numbers show. Like this episode. Someone is listening to this right now, and it's the first time they've ever listened to this show. This is
that's awful. I hope
what an
not.
introduction.
Yeah, I didn't like this episode. Sometimes I like them. Sometimes I don't. I didn't like this one.
I like basically everyone. This was quite the episode.
I didn't enjoy this one. Just been down in the dumps a little bit. Another pair of AirPods? Are you serious with this?
Okay, all right. AirPods. I got interrupted by housekeeping. It's been a good one. We've really kind of tried to hit all the bases in this one. If you liked what you got here, you ain't seen nothing yet. But they're normally not this chaotic. And again, normally my voice sounds normal on a mic. Didn't pack it when I came down here. So it goes. All right, I will go with Bama in this spot to cover as well. Crimson Tide, I just think they're the better team, even though they're totally capable of getting housed in this one. We'll both roll with the Tide.
So what you got going on the rest of the day?
That's a good question. I got to finish. The Coach K column is pretty much done, but I want to read through it. I got to file that. And then I think I didn't look yet. I think I'm going to dip into a record store. I like when I go to College Town, like to go and, go to a good little music shop. I got to go buy a pair of AirPods. I do, because I got to do this HQ hit on Saturday, a couple HQ hits. So I think I legitimately need to go buy some AirPods. So I'm going to go do that. We're both in the same spot, buddy.
Life is hard, man. Life is challenging.
So yeah, I'll do that.
I wish that, does anybody have an actual plan on how to keep up with AirPods? What is the trick?
Be a responsible human being. I don't know what to tell you.
What is the trick? How do people? Is there anybody who's ever kept a pair of AirPods for more than a year? And while traveling, and if so, how did you do it? And don't say by not drinking, because that's not a solution. That's not a solution.
We got a live chat. It says right here. And now, Alan Daniel in chat says, "Find my iPhone helps." I will say this. When I went skiing earlier this year. I was on the lift with this bra, like 22 years old. And he had lost. I don't know why I know why you do it, because they're easy. They go in the ears, whatever. But this dude went skiing with his AirPods. Okay. One of them fell out. his phone was searching. And as we're on the lift going up, he goes, I know it's in this area because my AirPods, whatever device thing, it's telling me it's somewhere here. White AirPods when you're skiing. That's a never getting them back situation. But he was like, I'm going to find him. I'm going to find him with this. I've actually never owned AirPods. I've done different earbud situations, so I don't know exactly how that find my iPhone situation works. But that's some real-time advice from the listeners there. So,
I know where they're at. They got to be in my Uber that I took from the airport home. But I already contacted Uber, and they're like, driver didn't find them because you're never getting those back.
It's not like it's your phone.
Yeah, like somebody picks up your AirPods. They just got some new AirPods. That's the way that story goes.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
It's a tough deal. I feel like if there were a way to glue my AirPods case to my backpack, that way every time I take them out of my ear, I have to put them in the case, and the case is always connected to my backpack. Because I know what happens. I take them out of my ears, I put them in my case, I set the case down right beside me. And then I just get up and leave. And they're gone forever.
Yeah, this is a functioning, by the way, this is a functioning business model. This is what they want to happen. So that they can be lost easily so you buy more. You're keeping them in business. You are.
What a trick they got. I need something to connect it to my actual backpack.
It's almost like if there were wires attached to them, they might not get lost as easily, right?
You know what? Here's the thing with wires, because those are obvious. Like it's at this point, it's way smarter. Just use wired headphones, because if you lose them, and trust me, I used to lose them all the time too. But if you lose them, it's $15 as opposed to $280 or whatever you're doing. The problem is with mask on planes, wires they're just in the way. You got to take them off every time you take your mask off, put your mask back on. Life is challenging, is the point.
Melanie says there are covers for the case with a clip so you can attach to your bag. There's answers.
I've got to get that.
We love our listeners. Very helpful. My man's on his 9th pair of AirPods in a year and a half. It's a disaster over here.
They're like, I'm not even joking. I bought these 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. It's outrageous.
You going to be able to send your kids through college?
I don't even know anymore.
Let's get out of here.
Shouts to Devin Downey. Shouts to Chester, South Carolina. Shouts to Eric Dortch, 6'6" legend. Average 7.7 points, 3.5 rebounds for Baylor. 1992-93 season. Shouts to Larnell. Thank you guys once again for listening to the Allen College Basketball Podcast in the middle of the dumbest pandemic of my lifetime. It's so stupid. What a dumb pandemic this has been. If you're not subscribed, please go subscribe anywhere you subscribe to podcasts, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify. At Apple, please leave a nice review. Type some nice words. There's more of us than there are of them. Don't ever forget that. There's more of us than there are of them. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do that. Stop making me beg. Smash the like button like you're Brandon Davies. And we're going to talk to you again on Sunday night. Till then, take care.